Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. I hope you had a great day. Today we are looking at some new malicious compliance stories. I hope you enjoy them. The first story is called Won't Let Me Leave. This story comes from when I used to work for a global big box store. At the time this happened, I worked in the storeroom, unloading trucks and bringing the stock to the floor to be stocked by the overnight crew. Our shift at the time was 3:30 PM to 12 AM. Our store manager made it clear that no overtime was permitted to be worked, anything over 9 hours by company policy. This meant at the latest we had to leave by 12:30 AM. We usually cut it close because we were chronically understaffed for various reasons. I knew this night was going to be bad the moment I arrived. We had 6 workers scheduled, yet 2 called in sick, including the shift lead. This meant that I was put in charge, as I had the most experience and the day shift managers all loved me cause I worked my butt off. I then checked our delivery schedule and it showed 2 semi-trucks, both with over 2,000 items each that needed to be unloaded. In addition, another truck that was expected to have over 20 pallets of stock. This meant we had over 4,000 items that needed to be unloaded by hand, with only 4 workers to do it. In addition, we were also responsible for scanning items out of overstock bins and bringing them to the floor if the system detected an item needed to be restocked. Needless to say, the shift was a mess. We didn't get our first break until almost 10 PM. At around 7 PM, the system dropped about 350 items that needed to be scanned out of the overstock bins. There were almost 200 bins we would need to search for the stuff. As the shift lead, the fact we were so behind was my fault. Definitely didn't have anything to do with being overworked with unachievable time targets. So the overnight managers arrived at 10:30 PM and one of them went ballistic and yelled at me. Cool, whatever, I don't care, I'll just leave at 12 AM. So here's where the compliance comes in, to a point. 12 AM comes around and the manager refuses to let us leave. Doors get locked with keys only managers have and alarms are set. One of the 4 of us is a college student and has an exam at 8 AM, so they let him go. 12:30 AM rolls around and we start to leave, again not allowed to leave by the manager. Keep in mind, overtime is not allowed and after 12:30 we were in overtime. One of the 3 remaining of my crew has childcare issues, so they let him leave. At 1 AM, the overnight crew goes on break and the doors are unlocked so the manager can smoke. My only remaining crew member just walks out and the manager lets him go without any argument. I was working, so didn't know until after doors were relocked. 3 AM rolls around and the night crew goes for lunch. I'm fed up with the manager's attitude as he's been harassing me for the last 2 hours about not being done without offering any help. I decide that I'm going home. As I walk out the doors, the manager is standing there. Where are you going? Are you done? Nope, still about 20 pallets to go out and about 80 overstock items to be picked from the bins. Go back and finish, you can't leave. I'm already 2.5 hours into overtime, I'm going home. Do we need to go into the office and talk about your poor attitude and lack of work ethic? I was over it at this point and said, screw you manager, I'm going home. Don't come back, you are fired. Have fun explaining to the store manager why you fired me. I'll be sure to tell him all about the shift tonight. I then left and went home. About 5-ish hours later, 8 AM, I get a phone call from the store. It's the store manager and he wants to talk to me. Can I come in for a meeting at noon? I say sure, I'll be there. I get to the store just before noon and get escorted into the store manager's office by one of the day managers. I hear you had some overtime last night? Care to explain why? I explained everything that happened the night before. So, you left at 3 AM? Yes. And the manager said you were fired, correct? Yes. He isn't allowed to do that. What you told me matches what the other night manager said happened. As a result, the manager is being moved to day shift for retraining. You also are not fired. We need a new overnight stockroom lead and I'd like to offer it to you. It comes with a $1 per hour night shift bonus and a $1 per hour raise. I'll take it. I had been trying for this position anyway. When do I start? You start tomorrow night if you want. Great, thank you store manager. I then went home and told my family, who were quite happy with the turnout. Especially my mom, who also worked at the store and was rather mad about what happened. The next story is called She Wants to Micromanage. I'm the sole communications and social media person for a small company. I went to school in this field and have done it professionally in a few different spheres. My boss, on the other hand, doesn't even know what a Facebook or Twitter page looks like or what any of the buttons do. Yet she still micromanages me all day, every day, and I'm going crazy. I always schedule our email campaigns spread out enough so that people aren't getting bombarded, generally one per week at most. This is one of the most basic rules of comms and should be common sense even if you don't have a degree in this. Multiple times she has demanded that I post something immediately, even though the next few slots are already filled with posts that are more time sensitive. She always tells me to just send both on the same day, and I have explained to her numerous times that that's a terrible idea, in nicer terms. Well, I gave my 2 weeks notice this past Monday. So I don't care anymore about fighting for what's best for the company. This time I said I was going to push back each of our scheduled posts by one slot, so we can post the listing for my job vacancy immediately. Because for once the new post actually is more time sensitive than the others. Once again, she tells me to just post both, the job listing and the one originally planned for that day. Fine. I send out both. It's been 3 days and we've already lost 11% of our subscribers and nobody has yet applied for my job since that listing was buried. I present stats on the success of our email campaigns, website and social media once per week to my boss's boss. I look forward to explaining this drop to him in a few days. I hope you enjoyed today's video so far. If you want more content, please subscribe to the channel. And if you like the video, don't forget to press the like button. It really helps. And now, on to the last story. The last story is called Karen Got What She Deserved. This was about 6 years ago now. At the end of high school and for a couple years afterward, I worked at a higher-end grocery store chain in the Midwest. I had worked my way up to the service desk position where we sold specific items like lotto tickets and high theft risk items like baby formula. And we settled coupon disputes and refunds. Quite frankly, I loved my job. All the co-workers got together great, but we had this terrifying HR manager who is the Karen of the story. She sported the classic Karen haircut, very intimidating presence and had a very forced cheeriness. She basically was the only storm cloud at this job. Karen was truly a force to be reckoned with and everyone feared being in her line of fire. She would nitpick employees on anything she could. Behind the service desk we had a broom and storage closet. I and the other service desk employees had taken to using the broom closet to store personal belongings, as it was safer than the break room. Things went missing sometimes. Kids are dumb. When Karen discovered we were storing our bags and lunches there, she was mad. She made a point to pull us all aside and inform us that this closet was not under any circumstances to be used as personal lockers, as we have those in the break room. She said that our staff is in the way and slows productivity, blah blah blah. Whatever, I'll keep my valuables on me. We all agreed to not store our things in the closet anymore for fear of being written up. Fast forward about a month. I'm going through my shift close duties and get to the part where I sweep the floor behind and around the service desk. I head into the broom closet to retrieve the broom and dustpan, and what am I greeted with? A purse and a grocery bag. Upon further inspection, I recognize the purse to be Karen's designer purse. You have got to be kidding me. I check the grocery bag tied to it, and it has 10 packs of cigarettes in it. 10. Nobody buys 10 packs of assorted cigarettes, so obviously my snooping does not end there. I check the date codes and find all of them are just barely expired and unable to be sold. I'm not sure if it carries over to other places, but in my state, expired cigarettes cannot be sold and must be returned to the proper vendor. Some federal law about a controlled substance or something. I check the receipt in the bag and notice one line of general merchandise at $1, 10 times. In my store, we use that general merchandise input with a custom price to charge for items with a damaged barcode, which couldn't be scanned into the system. I checked the cashier's ID at the top, and who else but the big K-dog herself. So she sold herself 10 packs at $1 per pack. Mind you, these sell for about $8 to $10 per pack normally. Not to mention the crime of selling expired ones. That just sounds like stealing, but with extra steps. It's malicious compliance time. So I put everything back the way it was and start sweeping while fuming the entire time, trying to figure out what I'm going to do about this. Then my saving grace descends from the heavens. The sweet little front-end manager, who's basically a mom to all the cashiers, strolls over to have a chat and asks how my shift was going. I decide it's now or never. Not fully understanding the gravity of the situation at the time, I go through the small talk for a bit. Then I just casually lay it on Storm Mom that I saw Karen's purse in the broom closet tied to a bag of cigarettes and thought it was kind of weird. All the while remaining innocent and curious, while I wanted to scream about Karen being a thief. To my absolute delight, this comment immediately furrowed the Storm Mom's brow, and she came around to investigate. She opened the bag and her eyes went wide when she realized what I had realized only minutes before. She was obviously mad at this point, but calmly and quietly told me not to mention this to anyone else. I had a customer service grin on at this point and agreed. Almost an hour has passed when I see Storm Mom, bag in hand, go upstairs to the conference room. She was followed by the bigwig corporate loss prevention guy, followed by a straight up police officer. Oh my god. At this point I'm sweating bullets for Karen. I hear Karen get summoned to the conference room over the employee walkie-talkie system. I see her trot up the stairs with a confused look on her face as she glances over at me, still wearing my fake customer service smile. About another hour goes by and my shift is about to end, but you better believe I am not going to miss the end of this. All of a sudden I hear absolute stomping coming down the steps from the conference room. It's Karen. Her face is beet red, tears in eyes, an expression that is the epitome of rage. And she is looking at me, staring into my very soul. Let me tell you, if looks could kill, I would have been splattered all over the walls of the service desk. She's coming right for me, maintaining eye contact, and at this point I'm genuinely frightened. But I keep my well-honed customer service mask on and stare right back. She comes behind the desk and stops a few feet from me, just menacingly staring at me. I can basically hear her blood trying to rip from her veins. We both stood there for mere seconds, but it felt like an absolute eternity. She turns, opens the closet, grabs her purse and leaves the store. That's the last time I saw Karen. She must have even moved away, because this town ain't exactly big enough for the two of us, if you catch my drift. I pestered Storm Mom about what happened, but she didn't want to disclose much information about the situation. But she did mention that Karen was at least charged with retail theft and made passing comments about how she would never be able to work in a retail setting again. Meh, good enough for me. The grocery store was a happier place. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider subscribing to the channel for more content. Let me know what you think about the stories in the comment section below. Have a great day. Bye bye.